All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the telecast today. I've been requested by Shahid Bhai to host today's discussions, and I'm grateful to him for letting me do this. We've got a few special guests that are joining us today, which is going to be great. And I guess I'll bring them in one by one. We've got Shafayet, who everyone knows, a superbly talented cricketer that no one's surprised. In fact, everyone that's on here tonight is very qualified and superb cricketers. We've got Hasan Bhai as well, and we've got Rajib Bhai as well. So welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. This is my first time, so forgive me if I make any mistakes, but let's see where we end up today. So how are you all? And we'll get Hasan Bhai in as well. So we'll get him to join us too. Hopefully he'll just come into the stream. As he comes, yes, and he's joining us now. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thanks for BCL to run these wonderful Boundary Banter discussions. A lot to discuss this week. It has been a crazy cricket weekend. Some of the games were just unbelievable. Probably one of the best games I've ever seen, ever. And I'm not just saying that. Incredible Kalachilo. It was so close to the last ball, which we'll talk about in great depth. But let's start off with Hasan Bhai. Some thoughts about the weekend's Kala. Up to Bolin, English, Bangla, whatever. Forgive me for cutting between the two. I'll be doing that all night. So up to Bolin. What are your thoughts?
Well, as you said earlier, Pushkin Bhai, I think the best game was between Ocean versus Striking Burners. এবং আমি লাস্টে খেলাটা অবশ্য মাঠে ছিলাম। তো আমার ওই খেলাটা দেখার পরে মনে হয়েছে মোস্ট প্রবাবলি বাংলাদেশ ইন্ডিয়ার একটা খেলা ছিল, 3 বলে 2 রান দরকার, এরকম একটা সিচুয়েশন। ঠিক এক্স্যাক্টলি সিমিলার রেজাল্ট। That was the best game, and then obviously between Kryptonites Cricket Bros খেলাটা it was a low scoring game, and then PS Masters obviously convincingly win করে, and I think the other game was between what was that?
Vipers was us.
Vipers versus Lemon Tree Lions.
No, Sydney Green Boys.
Green Boys, sorry, yeah. Green Boys. Tipu Bhai অসাধারণ ব্যাটিং. So well, yeah. That's the I think পুরো weekend the standout game was between the Oceanus and Striking Burners.
We'll get some other thoughts from the Rajib Bhai. What were your thoughts? Probably similar, different. What are your thoughts?
No, my thoughts are exactly the same like Hasan Bhai's one. Look, it was a very good game, and as you all know, cricket is a bit uncertain game, and unfortunately, I was in the losing side of that game.
You're right in the middle. You're right stuck in the middle.
But such is cricket, man. Such is cricket. This is how it goes. I always believe, the game is not over till it's over. And which was exactly what happened to us versus Oceanus. And I also saw you guys game, Vipers and Green Boys. Tipu Bhai smashed another 70 plus one. Yeah. Even the Hasan Creek Bows and the other game was also very good. It was the Kryptonites, right? Low scoring game, but Kryptonite also shows that with even the lowest scoring games, they are able to put some fight on the 100%. Ground. So which says the depth of all the teams in BCL in a nutshell.
One of the games we haven't mentioned, which unfortunately we missed the first bit of, was PS Masters versus Lemon Tree Lions. And we'll talk about it. We'll go through order of first game to last game when we get stuck in. But that was, some incredible performance. And Safi's innings of, 70 plus off 30 balls, 8 fours and 4 sixes was, and we'll talk about that because, Safi himself is an incredible player. We just didn't get to see some of them. And we saw some of the photos, and we saw a montage, and you can see that striking. And when we go through some of the numbers of where they were at 5, 10 and 20 overs, that innings was extraordinary, which we'll talk about as we go forward. Shafayet, share some of your thoughts.
And I think Pushkin Bhai, if we can have moments of that clip, that would be great. If we can have a look.
So we'll get stuck in. Let's see. Yeah.
catch from Adnan. Who took that?
Yeah, that was a wonderful summary, and we love those collections. Shafayet, I didn't get any of your thoughts before we get stuck into the week's games one by one. What were your thoughts up to কি মনে করছেন? What highlights, lowlights, middle?
থ্যাংক ইউ ভাই। আমার কাছে আমি একই হাসান ভাই এবং রাজীব ভাইয়ের সাথে একমত পোষণ করতেছি যে Aussie versus striking banners, that was the most exciting games I have ever seen in the community cricket actually. That was like striking banners তো বলতে হয়, এটা full of stars, এবং Aussie NSCও very good team, এবং এই ম্যাচটা আমার দেখার পরে মনে হয়েছে যে এই ম্যাচ মানে খুব very good captaincy was there, এবং তাদের যে লাস্ট বল পর্যন্ত বিলিভ ছিল যে এই ম্যাচটা এখান থেকেও জিতা যায়। ডেফিনেটলি কৌরব ভাই, রিফাত ভাই, আদনান ভাই, তাদের যে এক্সপেরিয়েন্স তারা সেটা শো করতে এখানে, এবং কারণ এত মানে স্কোর তো অত মানে অত হাই স্কোরিং ছিল না, তারপরেও যে এত ভালো ব্যাটিং এর এগেনস্টে এই রানটাকে ডিফেন্ড করা যাবে এটা ওদের মধ্যে বিলিভ ছিল, এবং তারা যেভাবে আমার কাছে মনে হয়েছে বোলিং চেঞ্জেস করছে, দ্যাট ওয়াজ অসাম. So we could easily learn so many things from that game, I think. এবং
খুব সুন্দর জিনিস, which was quite amazing, Proti, when he bowled ওই last overটা, কি courage, what courage it takes as young captain. He's 15, 16 years old to take that ball.
Exactly.
Yes, he took that ball and he bowled that last over for 5 runs. এটা কি courage লাগে someone else. আমি ball করতে চাই না. Anyone else could then, it's China, but he took it as captain and he succeeded. He deserves such credit and courage. It's a truly cricket courage to ball together. What he did that day was superb, superior, and he should be really commended. His father should be proud, and I'm sure Rabba to Kalata Jai and he would have been so proud. Jay, he took the ball on Amakadan, because commentary Jokon Hochilo, they said, this bowler's got 20 off him, 10 off him, 15 off him. Rifat, Korab, and a few of the other key bowlers had finished bowling. So I think Korab bowled 18th over. So all last 1 or 2 overs for Proti to come and bowl that last one with only a few runs in hand and get that wicket, unbelievable.
He had that belief, like I can defend that, like, so that's why. And I think he got huge backup from, I think, Adnan bhai, Gaurav and Rifat bhai. So that was a huge support, I would say. And এবং ক্রিক ব্রোস এবং ক্রিপ্টোনাইটস এর ম্যাচটাও ভালো ছিল. ক্রিক ব্রোস আমার কাছে মনে হচ্ছে ভেরি অর্গানাইজড টিম, অ্যান্ড হাসান ভাই তো লিডিং ফ্রম দ্য ফ্রন্ট, অ্যান্ড আর মনে হচ্ছে ভেরি ওয়েল ব্যালেন্সড, তাদের বোলিং এবং ব্যাটিং সবকিছুই মনে হচ্ছে ভেরি স্ট্রং. সো they can do very well, I would say, in this tournament.
Exactly, because when you look at the scores, both the Crick Bros versus Kryptonites, first 5 overs for Kryptonites was 4 for 14. First 5 overs for Crick Bros was 3 for 16. So both teams were in trouble. Even the chasing side, when you're chasing 69, we should be able to do it with our strong team. Hasan Bhai is there to describe. And then after 3 for 16, they came back and eventually got 4 for 71 and they won the match. But obviously with some mental strength, or a consolidated course, they got there in the end. But Kryptonites were in it. They were in it from the start. 10 wicket within 5 overs. We can do this as well. And it was, in the end, it's not as wide a gap as people might think with the score. It was tight. And it was a good match for that reason. Keep on, Hasan bhai.
No, obviously, আমরা মনে করছিলাম easily আমরা chase করব, but Miraj and সুজন ভাই, they bowled really well initial overs. এবং আমি তখন কমিটিতে ছিলাম শাহেদ ভাইয়ের সাথে. শাহেদ ভাইকে আমি বললাম যে ভাই আমাকে একটু ব্রিদিং স্পেস দেন, I just can't take this. So আমি আবার ডাগ আউটে গেলাম, and then from there, but I took a gamble in that day. So আমি যে সিয়াম নামে একটা নতুন ছেলে আছে, ওকে বললাম যে just go and smash few boundaries, কারণ আমরা প্রেসারে পড়ে যাচ্ছি, and that's what exactly he did. So ওখানে গিয়ে পজিশন করে আসে এবং that made our life really easy. But Kryptonites recently তাদের ফিল্ডিং, বোলিং এবং তারা অ্যাকচুয়ালি মানে প্ল্যান করে আসে স্ট্র্যাটেজিক্যালি প্রত্যেকটা টিমরে কাটাছেড়া করে। সো ক্রিপ্টোনাইটস কেও আমার মনে হয় ক্রিকেটে ব্যাড ডে থাকে, ওরা একটু খারাপ ব্যাটিং করছে ওই দিন, বাট যদি 100, 110, 20 রান যদি ওরা জড়ো করতে পারতো, আই থিঙ্ক things could have been a different for that game.
So I'll bring Rajib Bhai into this. Let's do this in an orderly way. The first game was PS Masters versus Lemon Tree Lions. PS Masters scored 5 for 216 off 20 overs. And in reply, Lemon Tree Lions got 8 for 96. Apne, Rajib Bhai, apne thoughts, what do you think? Apne ki chinta with these scores, what you saw or what you heard about that match?
Pushkin by the scorecard says everything.
Yeah.
I think this is the second game which a team scored 200 plus. I think the first one was done by Aussie NCS. This is the second one, and there's unbelievable innings played by Saifi. This guy, he always knows. He can change a game any given days when he's on, which actually he showed. And apparently he dedicated this one to some of his close friend or something. I vaguely heard about it, man. I don't know the whole story, which is good on him, man. Which shows what a great personality he has. And look, Salman Bhai is always there. This guy, at this stage, I think when I go to his stage, I'll retire from cricket. I don't have that much energy left. This guy, every single time he goes to the ground, he seems like he's 21. And he has full of energy and things, which is very good. Community cricket, we actually need this kind of players a lot. And he's a team man. As you can see, everyone loves him around. Look, PS Masters looks very good team, to be honest. And as I said, Pushkin Bhai earlier, this tournament, all the teams, they're doing the hard work. They're coming to the ground by analyzing all the teams and everything. When I was in fielding, I can hear some guy was talking to the other guy. Like, didn't you see him when he was batting in the last game? What is our plan? I'm like, are you guys for real? Do you guys really do this? Man, this is unbelievable, which is good. So that actually puts us in lots of pressure that we have to improve our game. The game has gone so far. You can't just play every single weekend and hoping you will perform.
No, and I think that type of passion and that type of analysis, it comes through. You can actually watch a lot of these players via video because basically all the games are televised. So you can actually see how players, if you're that, and I know that some community cricketers are that serious that they'll watch the whole game of every game, a lot of time, but a lot of people do. Passion to Jeta say it's unbelievable in Bangladeshi community cricket in particular over any community cricket.
I will actually blame Shahid Bhai, so just exposing all of our drawbacks and our weakness. It's good to have all the live games, but he's also liable for all these things.
So in that match, I mean, PS Masters in the first 5 overs were 1 for 49, and then at the 10 over mark they were 2 for 86. So they were going at a good number at 10 and over essentially, and they almost maintained that. And then the last 10 overs, they got 130 runs with the loss of 3 wickets. So they absolutely exponentially accelerated. So initially, Shaikat he started off the bashing it. He got 35 runs off 29 balls, 2 fours, 2 sixes. Anisul Bhai, he got 48 off 27, a huge innings from him in the middle. And then Saifi just totally took it away with 72 off 30. And that's probably where that 130 acceleration came. So it's hard because Lemon Tree Lions, it's a young team, and we can talk about them a little bit. They're a young team. Sydney Brothers also a young team, but they've been in the tournament a bit longer. So, Lemon Tree Lions, one outstanding player, which I looked in the stats, was Ishraq Ifaz. I don't know him exactly. He got 3 for 44 in that innings at 216, which is very commendable. And he got 32 off 23, or 2 fours, 2 sixes. So Lemon Tree Lions clearly have some talent in their team. They're a young team, new team.
I think Pushkin Bhai, one more thing about Ishraq. He opened the bowling for Lemon Tree Lions 3 times in this tournament, and each time he got 1 wicket, like on that first over. So this happened with Ozzy Anastasis. He took 1 wicket. Fahad, I think that was the wicket, and then with Cricket Bros, he got 2 wickets in the first over, and this game he also got another wicket. So he's a good talent for Lemon Tree Lions. The standout player, I would say.
Yeah, and he definitely was in this game. And it sounds like in the other games, and I'm sure there's more talent. And I was listening to the commentary, and a lot of the discussion was around fielding. So Rajib Bhai mentioned the fielding of someone, say, I think even Shagat Bhai. All of you talked about Kryptonite's fielding, and I believe that Shobuj Bhai has been invested in some of their training and things like that. And he's a incredible, unbelievable community cricket person, playing at the levels he's had, and a lot of that passion. These guys dive, they run, they stop boundaries. So I guess Lemon Tree Lions, as they move forward, they'll pick up a lot of that stuff, because a lot of us, as we've played cricket throughout the years, we didn't dive around that much. I'm seeing a lot more of that, passion, and just I'm going to throw my body at things at all costs. যেটা আগে ছিল না সেরকম. I feel, maybe I'm wrong, আপনারা কি মনে করেন that fielding passion, that diving, that stopping the ball, that no fear attitude, I think এটা আমাদের খেলার ভিতরে এটা চলে আসছে অনেক বেশি. What do you think? আপনারা কি মনে করেন?
Well, for Cricket Bros, always whenever I go to the field, I say one thing to my players, like fielding is the attitude of our team. So this is the branding of our team. So I think this is the similar approach for most of the teams these days. Like, how to do a little bit of batting, how to do, control the line and length. But when it comes to the fielding, this is where the differences comes from. And I think in this community, it doesn't matter which team is that, but if they're not good at fielding, well, they can't win championship. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I can say, Shafayet, he on the weekend, his keeping skills is beyond imagination. But he took this beautiful catch in slip when we played against him that just was past, and he still was able. His reflexes are such that he caught that beautifully, and it's on camera as well. So, Shafayet Bhai, just what are your thoughts with regard to আমাদের fielding improvement? আপনি যেটা দেখতেছেন in the community. আপনার thought কি with regard to
definitely I agree with Hasan Bhai, because I think fielding is the most important part of the games, because without taking good catches, without saving boundaries, it's quite impossible to win a match. And I think and another thing is, like, it's very hard to improve your batting skill and bowling skill because it takes time. But if you want to improve your fielding skill, it is easy to improve actually. If you actually want, you can, I think within 1 month, if you actually really try hard, you can definitely win it. But but in your batting skill, like if you want to be a very good batsman or very good bowler, it takes actually time. So I would say for any team to do a good result, I think they should focus more on fielding. So if they can do at least 1 day fielding session, or so that will definitely help that team. And Kryptonites, I seen them before Ramadan. I seen them to practice in Bennett Park in Roseland. I seen them like every week they were like doing fielding practices, catching. They were taking catches. So that's how they have improved a lot. And Cricket Bros as well. I have seen them in Bennett Park as well to do fielding practices.
So I mean, previously have won a previous tournament. They're a new team, and I think in this first game, that's listening to the commentary and watching some of the game, there was unfortunately some drop catches, and we'll talk about the drop catches because that affected some of the teams that we're talking about in this week's round. There was some key catches dropped that really affected the results and could have affected the results greater. The Oz NSU versus Striking Burners, I think Amit was right at the end, second last over. I think who was bowling? Korab or Rifa? Korab was bowling it. It was edge to slip, and it got through the slip's hand. If that catch was taken, it may not have gone down to the wire as it did. So, that's just one example. I've been dropped a couple of times, and I'm lucky. And you just know when you get dropped, or when there's a drop catch, it can change the momentum in the batsman's favour quite seriously. So I think that's something I've been playing a few years that has been really hard. I mean, as I get older, it's hard to catch, but we've got a lot of young people, so that should improve. Catching is really, it's hard. It's a lot of confidence. It's a lot of timing and all of that, as Shafayet has said, with practice. But it can be easily improved if you practice that. Cricket, batting and bowling, it takes some coordination and so on. But catching, if you position yourself and you have some confidence, you have a chance of taking those catches. But I think this weekend catches affected results. It does every week, of course.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Obviously, Pushkin, that catch against striking burners, the last ball, Omid Bhai smashed the ball that went high into the sky.
Very-
And Adnan Bhai was trying to position himself, but he was here and there. We thought,
Yeah.
like, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. And eventually, after some fumbles, he took that catch in one go. And that was the decider. I mean, with that catch, if I was the umpire, probably I would have said, like, give him the man of the match, because if he drops that catch, Omid Bhai and the non-striker Sohail Bhai almost they took 2 runs, so they basically win that game. One catch can change the whole thing, whole momentum. That was
And even
4
that was
points.
that wasn't not an easy catch actually.
Yeah,
at
it
all.
was not a wicket. Not absolutely. So, but that catch decided the game. Like 4 points between two teams, and then this is how it works. Catches win matches.
Absolutely.
I remember Pushkin Bhai, I think one of the international captain, he says it's MS Dhoni or someone. He says that you can have a one bad day in batting, you can have a one bad day in bowling, but in fielding, as a combined team, you can at least save each game 25 to 30 runs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So fielding is one of the biggest part of this modern days game. So as I was talking to you other day on the ground, and I was telling you, how there's few fielders from Kryptonite, how good they are. When I see them fielding, I'm like, man, I wish, I'm even half good as them. So at this tournament, I guess the fielding is going to make a huge difference when it's going to come to the decider.
I think so. And I think, when we talk about next week's game at the end of this session, next week's games, Sydney Brothers is probably a key fielding team to that. They're a young, energetic, enthusiastic group of young men. They obviously host a lot of this. So, thank you to them for all, and commentary is incredibly enjoyable and funny. But their fielding is just, it's yards ahead of many teams, and they win matches through their skill in batting and bowling. But their fielding is always backing up those two components, always. And I think one of the team games that they may have faltered in another competition at the end was when their fielding wasn't there. It was probably 95%, but not 100% or 99% as they normally are, and they suffered because they're such a great fielding unit. And the guys, they are an incredible group of guys, and that fielding that they do, it can almost when you watch Kryptonites or someone, they're just diving. You think you hit a shot and you're just walking for 4. It's going to be 4, and it's not 4. You get 1 or 2, or you're ball watching, because that enthusiasm, that's 4 runs saved, 3 runs saved. It changes momentum all the time, and it also puts the batsman down. That I thought that was going to be 4, and 4 for a batsman is super confident. So fielding is number one. It's such a huge aspect of the game. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, so that was PS Masters versus Lemon Tree Lions. A big disparity. I think we talked about the fielding, and we talked about Safi's incredible knock of 72 off 30. Unfortunately, we couldn't see a lot of it, but we've seen some pictures of it. And Safi, well done to you. Let's move on to the next game, of which we've got a couple of players here. Vipers versus Sydney Green Boys. Bit of a summary. Vipers batted first. They got 6 for 111 off 20, which was clearly not enough. Sydney Green Boys chased that down in 14.4 overs with 3 for 117, not losing many wickets. In that game, the sort of Vipers batted first, 5 overs, 2 for 44, 10 overs, 2 for 56, and 20 overs, 6 for 111. So 50 runs in each of those segments. So a great start, but certainly wasn't followed through. I was a part of that, and I didn't get away. But I'll have to say in my defence, and the bowling by SGB, and I'll always it was very, Sydney Green Boys was outstanding. Two of the bowlers in that particular instance was Ungun, the spinner. He got 3 for 11 off 4. He basically, no one hit any runs off him. And Masrur also 1 for 11 off 4, so no runs off him either. So, there was a low, Vipers, us never really got away. We needed to get 130, 140 to make it more competitive. But at the same time, when you look at Sydney Green Boys, they started off at 2 for 42, similar start to us, to Vipers, then 3 for 69. So again, 56, 69, they're a bit more ahead, and finally 3 for 117 they established. So I think with some of these games this weekend, we were a medium to low scoring game, and Crickbows versus Kryptonites was also a low scoring game. It's interesting because the bowling was good and the bowling was pretty accurate. There were extras weren't that many in those two games. So Shafayet, let me go to you. You were there. What were your thoughts about this Canada? What is your thinking in how that game went?
I think the Vipers started off really well actually. At the first over, they got almost like 20 runs, and their opening batsmen were like smashing all over the ground. And he smashed against Jayed Bhai. He's one of the best bowlers in our community. But I think they lost the momentum because they lost few quick wickets in the middle. That's why their run rate got a bit slowed down, and they scored like 120 because of you, Pushkin Bhai. I think you batted really well because you couldn't get the good partner with you. That's why I think you couldn't score quickly. So I think that was good thing. I think the way you batted, that's really good. It was really hard to get your wicket because the approach was good because you thought I have to stay till end because that's a very tricky ground, I would say, because if you guys could have scored like 140 or 50, anything could have happened.
Yeah.
So and in our batting, I would say Ibrahim Bhai batted outstanding. So he was the only one I think made a huge difference between Vipers and Green Boys because and we lost 2 or 3 early wickets, and then our captain Mursalin Bhai he thought he should go because he thought if he can keep his wicket, Ibrahim Bhai was there, so he can hit sixes and he just can rotate the strike. So they both.
Bhai was man of the match with 74 off 40.
Oh, that
8
was
fours and 4 sixes. So he was.
Yeah.
He just was. He was in good touch and he was hitting the ball straight, very hard. He was seeing the ball well. He was on top and he really, he stayed in initially, got established, and I think that at Kirkham, if you can get in, you'll go off at the end. And Ibrahim towards the end, he was just hitting 4s and 6s.
Yeah,
and I think he had the momentum. He had the momentum, and others, just like your captain, he played around him. And Asif bowled really well. He got 2 for 26 off 4, one of the standouts for Vipers in the bowling. But a low-scoring affair, a slow-scoring affair. Some improvement certainly by me and the guys. We need to score quicker.
Because the bowler, I think bowled really well, especially on Ongon, and Sami was really good actually. Sami didn't get he should have got 3 or 4 wickets. He just got only 1.
Yeah, he should have got mine. There was a drop in the keeper. I edged one to the keeper and it was flying. He bowled a good line. He bowled a good pace, and he's a passionate guy, which I like. He bowled very well. Good tight line.
Really well, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So any I don't know if any of the other guys, Hasan Bhai, Rajib Bhai, if you saw any of that or about the scores. What are your thoughts on that particular match?
It's exactly the same thing what you guys mentioned. I think Pushkin Bhai, against Jayed, hitting 2 sixes in the first over, I think got 20 runs. I thought maybe this is going to be a game. They scored 27 of 10 balls in the first 10 balls. So, but again, from there, they could not capitalize, and Sabir batted well with you. You guys had a partnership of 42 runs, I believe. He scored 21, so that was a good one. but eventually 111 is not a high score, obviously. And Green Boys has got a very good, strong batting lineup. Well, I would say that was as not expected. I was thinking like VD Vipers would have got more than what they have achieved. But this is cricket. Credit goes to Sydney Green Boys. I think they bowled really well.
100%. 100%. Rajib Bhai?
Man, I'm just wondering that one of the best wicketkeeper in community cricket, he didn't keep.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, what just happened there? Maybe the other guys is very good. To keep Shafayet to sleep and to keep there, you have to be very good at it, man.
That's why.
Huh?
Got better than me.
Better than you. I'm still looking forward to the next game, man. I just want to see him keep. And he got to be very good, man, to keep you put it in the sleep. I'm still thinking about this.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. When you go out to bat, you expect Shafayet behind the wicket, keeping up to pace, so you can't advance, you can't do anything. You're going to be stumped, and they'll just flick it down leg side. So something.
I can bet for my life.
Excellent.
I can bet for my life, Pushkin. But if Shafayet's in keeping, I can bet for my life. That's fine.
No, very good. All right, let's move on to the next game, which was the game of the round, I would suggest. Oz NSU versus Striking Burners. So a bit of a summary of the game. Oz NSU batted first in the first 5 overs. They were none for 44. So a good start by the young opening pair. Then after 10 overs, they were 2 for 76. So still going at 7-8 and over. Good striking. And then getting to 163 after 20 overs. So 87 in that last 10 overs. That 87 essentially came from, so Arco started the innings off with 25 off 20. He got three fours and 1 6. Then Gorab, and Gorab we'll talk about a lot tonight. He got 29 off 21 with 2 4s and 1 6. He was this was his first game with Oz NSUers. And then Rifat, as he does, he played a very vital role in the batting as well with 25 off 19 with 2 4s and 1 6. So that was, the 163. I think during the innings, you just weren't sure whether they would get to 163. And I think the captain at the start of the game said, because I heard the commentary was, 160, if we target that, we have a real chance of winning this. And, a lot of the commentary was also around, well, is 160, it's probably not par. You need to get 180 to really guarantee it. And clearly, I think the 180 was right. You'd guarantee a win. 160 was the question mark, and clearly it was the question mark. The bowling in terms of Sydney Burners was superb as well in that 163 that Oz NSU has got. Ashfik Bhai, he got 2 for 28 off 4, which is a very good bowling spell. And Banna Bhai as well, always economical, 1 for 23 off 4. So that was a really great effort by the Burners to bring it back, while the Oz NSU's a good effort in the last 10 overs to get that 80-odd runs to take them up to 163. Then, of course, Burners came in. They started off shaky. And Burners, that lineup, Rajib Bhai where he is, that lineup, how do we address Novell and Shagur Bhai and all of this, just starting off, where does this batting lineup stop? It doesn't stop. It goes to 11, and then all the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th man, everyone bats, everyone scored 50s and 100s. How do we stop this onslaught of batting? Yet, the Burners started off at 2 for 13, and then in the 10th over, they're 4 for 62, and eventually in the 20th, 4 for 162. So 100-odd runs in the last 10 overs, which was the key to almost winning it. Shagur got batted beautifully. He started properly as the opening batsman, and then got 42 off 31, 4 4s and 3 6s. Ronnie Bhai also lethal, 23 off 18, no 4s, 3 6s, as is Ronnie Bhai's way. Then Amit the danger. I remember Farhad Bhai saying in the comments, that as long as Amit Bhai is there, striking Burners have a chance. And he was right. He nearly took it to the end. And finally, Ashfik Bhai, he also batted well with 22 off only 13. But then the bowling from Oz NSU's Goram, 3 for 12 off 4. 3 for 12 off 4. Unplayable. Off a 3-step run, bowling as quick as you can imagine. And then, of course, Rifat bowling what he does, 2 for 43 off 4. And finally, Protit, who we'll talk about, 1 for 5 off 1. So many highlights in the game. I open up to any of you. Let's talk about that game. Go ahead. Anyone?
I will start first.
I think.
Okay, that's why
Please.
Hasan Bhai, you go. That's fine. You go, Hasan Bhai.
No, Rajib, please. I want to hear from you.
No, the reason I wanted to go first because this game is still live in my memory. Like I still can't think how could we lose this game. But there's obviously a few things I must mention. The Korab. He's a deceptive bowler, to be honest. I think, as you say, Pushkin Bhai, with that 3-step run up and that pace, you do not expect this. I think 3 of our top order batsmen actually fall for that trap, including me. To be honest, the ball I got out, I did not expect the pace of that ball. And he was hitting the deck very hard. And the length he was bowling to be honest, I knew that, the frustrating thing for me was, I knew that he's going to bowl in that length. I was prepared for it, and I still got beaten by it. Yeah, hats off to Korab's bowling.
Go on.
Hats off to Korab bowling. As I said, the way he was hitting the deck, he was hitting the deck very hard. And as I said, with that 3-step run up, you can't judge the ball. It's very hard to judge the ball. Obviously, other thing I want to mention, the way Amit and Ashfiq batted at the end, they actually bring us to the game. Obviously, Sagar Bhai, Ronnie played very good at the beginning, but we couldn't. The thing is, any of our top order, we couldn't just continue. If you want to win a game, one of the top order, one of the set batsmen actually has to carry the game forward till the end. That's how you get the biggest score, you win the game, which it didn't happen against Creek Bows. It didn't happen with Aussie and either. So, but as I said, it is a very bad game to lose. But I also want to hats off to the captain, what's his name, Pratik Foysal. The young fella, that was his first over in the whole game. He took the ball, he actually led from the front, defending 7 runs from the last ball. And the first ball, he got hit for 4. So we basically needed 3 runs from 5 ball. And there's a wide, he basically needed 2 runs from 5 ball. From there, the way he defended, is hats off to him. He did lots of courage, to go in this situation and to play like this. But as I said to you earlier, this is the game of cricket. Anything can happen till the last game. I want to mention all the team out there, guys, do not lose hope till the game is finished. Over to you, Hasan Bhai.
Well done, Hasan Bhai.
Rajib Bhai, you said everything. Like what I was about to say, you covered everything. When Banna Bhai hit 4, I was beside striking Banna's dugout, and Ashfiq Bhai, everyone was jumping and say like, Bagar Bacha, you did this, blah blah blah. I mean, that time everyone said, oh, this game is over. 5 balls. If you just get 2 runs from there, that's it. It's tied, and you're not going to lose that game at least. But from there, losing a game, and Pratit gave 1 wide. He was bowling outside of, beaten by pace. And Pratit is he's exceptional batter as well.
Very well.
An excellent find for Aussie NFCs. Hopefully, he's going to play for Scorpion Spirit as well. And Abdul Bhai is guiding this team. So and Aussie NFCs know how to win a game. So I have been there. I in my Cricket Pros won a game against France 11, 2 runs needed, 2 wickets in hand, but we didn't lose hope, and we didn't give up. And in the end, we won that game. So it's about never give up. I think this is the learning from that game. You never lose hope until it's over. Never give up.
The week before, or the round before, we played Oz NS users, and we scored 160 odd. And they scored 161 or something for 9. So it was a last wicket game, and they won that too by 1 wicket. So this team it's a young team, and they've brought in experienced Scorpion Spirits players like Rifat Bhai and Adnan Kabir Bhai and all these players, and Korab and others who have sort of brought this balance back. with the young and the old. It's a beautiful mix that, like I think Rajib Bhai and all of you were saying earlier, that to get that experience, I saw them have a little conference before the over was bowled and just give the encouragement that they need to, the right words, and keep this young team afloat, because any young team that doesn't have finals experience or maturity will crumble. But those guys sort of glued it together and kept the boys up and essentially won the match. It was a beautiful mix, and that this young team with that experience, it's like when you go to a job, and in the old days in Aussie work, you'd be given an old guy and say just follow him, and then you'd learn all the tricks of the trade. In this team, the young guys are best. Look how they play. Just learn from watching them, and I think that team is what they're doing. That these two close games, learning from these older, experienced players, they're very fortunate. They'll never forget that game in their life. Because, in fact, I was driving to my niece's nikah. She was getting married, and I almost crashed 5 times because I had the phone illegally on, the commentary through the car, and I was screaming, and my family's going, "What are you screaming at?" Because it was just so tight. Eto close kalada chilo. But this is the beauty of community cricket, televised cricket, young and old people, young team getting up against a very experienced Sydney Burners. You love Sydney Burners because of their experience. You love Oz NSU because of their young and old mix. There's just so many good things about this game, and so much to learn, so much good in terms of community cricket. I can go on forever. So, Shafayet Bhai, let's hear your words about this game.
Yeah, I would like to say the same thing. We should not give up till the match is finished, actually, because the way the game got changed, it was changing every now and then. So because I can say at the moment, at the beginning, I was thinking striking Burners gonna win this match very easily. Their batting lineup is they have 11 batters. There are Rajib Bhai, Nirjar Bhai, Nobel Bhai, Ashfaq Bhai, Shagor Bhai. There are so many names. So it's I can just imagine how any team can think of beating them. It's if you see their batting lineup, and there are few other players, they didn't play in that match though. So but I would like to say the main difference was Kaurav Bhai. So the way he was bowling, actually, he was kept bowling 3/4 length. So and he knew that if you bowl fuller, so they're gonna smash you. So and that's when the way he was creating bounce, it was really hard to pull. So that's how Rajib Bhai and other batter got out. I think they couldn't they thought it wouldn't be that much bounce, and it wouldn't be that much. It wouldn't create that much space. So that, I think that's why they got a bit late. So that's why they couldn't time it properly. But if it wasn't Kaurav Bhai, if it was any other bowler, they could have easily hit 6. Those ball. But I think Kaurav, he's a exceptional talent, I would say, Kaurav Bhai, and very matured cricketer. I played with him a few matches. So, and that way he thinks, especially Kaurav and Rifat, that's amazing. So
Kaurav has been playing. I've been playing with him for 20 plus years. He used to play in, Randwick and others like that when they were young, when we were getting old. So he's been around. He's been a very, very quick bowler. I think, I was speaking to Kaurav a few weeks ago at training before one of the finals he had, and he has a knee injury. I don't think tell me, and his meniscus, there's an issue with his meniscus, and if he puts pressure on that, it really hurts and can damage him. So he's avoided bowling in some of his grade games, and he's just bowling this 3-step, which has been, and that exactly what you say, that Kaurav doesn't bowl wide, right? He bowls a line that you have to almost make the shot. You have to back away and somehow fluke it. Like you say, the line isn't there. It's too quick. It comes on you quick. It's bouncing.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know that length he's going to bowl, but it's very hard to pull it.
Very hard, very hard. So he's incredibly an intelligent. He knows the lengths and lines to bowl. He's been doing it his whole life. He's been very successful in that, and he was the key in this match. Clearly, there was a lot of outstanding players, but he was the key. Just up Wilson. But go on, keep going.
Yeah, because he came around like 9th over or something like that to defend like 17 runs or something like that. I think striking burner, I don't know, but should have like thought like we'll maybe lose 1 point. That's fine. Instead of losing wickets in that over. So I think they lost like crucial wicket in that over.
Win that over.
Yeah. So they lost the point and also lost a crucial wicket. If they could have kept that wicket, they could have won that match easily. Anyways, like anything could have happened. You never know. Like, but that was like a tough decision from Ozzy Enusu's points as well, because it was his 3rd over, I think. So he had only 1 over left after that. So it was, if he couldn't get any wicket in that over,
it would have been very hard.
We could have told like, he shouldn't have ball in that over.
Yeah. And this is, I hope Rajib Bhai doesn't mind me saying this. One of the games I was at, standing at the boundary with him, and in fact, one of the games that Striking Burners lost previously. What seems to happen sometimes in, I guess, these combined, very talented sides is when you're playing in your own team, like say Ronnie Bay, we play with Ronnie Bay or Norville Bay, or all these guys. When you play in your own team, you have your own expectation that I have to, I have a certain role in this team. I have to carry this team. I have to do certain things in this team. But when you're in a star-studded lineup of a team, the pressure's on you to, I have to perform, but there's also expectation that everyone else can perform as well. So maybe I don't. So there's this sort of tension and comfort. It's a really strange balance of tension that I have to score, and I'm here because I've proven to be one of the better players, and relaxation that if I don't do it, someone else will. So it's a very mysterious mix of what do I do? So we spoke a bit about this, and I think Striking Burners is coming to terms. They've had, I'm sure, many internal discussions that, hey, don't worry, you do what you do normally and you'll be fine. You play like you do in your team when you score hundreds and 50s, when you're carrying the team, and play like that every week. But it's hard to get that across when you've got that lineup behind you. You just have this natural comfort. Jama, I've got confidence. Jam, I'm a parable. But Rajib Bhai, can you share some thoughts around that type of thinking and what that's about?
No, Pushkin Bhai, you are 100% correct. We actually had a chat within ourselves that how we can improve on this. So we have to come up with a plan. As you know, it's very hard for sometimes, to be honest, for a captain when you have all the players who is already top performer in their team. So sometimes captain just thinks, I have nothing to tell them. So, but I was talking to Ashvik the other day. I did tell them, and then you are still a captain. We still need to have a game plan. We still need to stick to it. It doesn't matter which team we played for, whatever our role was. In this team, our role was different than my role was in my own team. So now we have to adapt. The problem was, I guess, it's very hard to adapt straight away. I remember the last time BCL as well, we lost the first game. And Shafayet was my mate that time. And then we eventually start playing slowly and getting there. And eventually when you went to knockout and things, we got the whole team back. I think the same thing is going to happen with us as well. I hope so, that we're going to come back stronger. And as I said, now we're starting to know that, what we should do, how to improve. We can just only learn from our mistakes. Whatever happened. We should not, keep doing the same mistakes again. And I think by doing this, we can actually go further. The way our team has been set up, we should go far in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely. I think if they get the momentum, it's gonna be really hard to stop them striking. Yeah. They just batting live. It's like most of their batsmen are top order. So it's really hard to to find the positions. I think most of them are either opener or one down batsman.
Yeah. So that's also
because Amit Bhai was batting like 7 or 8 down maybe. He's an opener too.
That's always the challenge, and every bowler's a bowler as well. So But look, we'll move on from that now. Superb by Gorab, who was the man of the match on that. Superb catch taken, superb captaincy from Proti, great courage, and Shabar, he did very well at the start. Just so many highlights and so many great things. We've got limited time, so we'll keep going. We'll talk about the last game, and then we'll quickly talk about next week's games or this weekend's games. So then the last game of the weekend was Quick Bros versus the Kryptonites. Kryptonites batted first. They got 69 for 10. First 5 overs, 4 for 14. 10 overs, 7 for 50, and then finally after 16 overs, 10 for 69 all out. Bowling deep, superb as he is. Raihan Kabir, 3 for 14 off his 4 overs. Jayed, superb, 3 for 17 off his 3.1. And Abhisat, I'm not sure, 2 for 12 off 2. And then Quick Bros came in. They got their runs with 4 wickets down, 5 overs, 3 for 16, 10 overs, 4 for 54. And 11 overs, 4 for 71. So they quickly got the match. Siam, he scored 25 off 19, and Jayed, a very quick 23 off 13. And Jayed taking the bickies on this one and getting man of the match. The bowling for Kryptonites against Quick Bros, Suzon, 2 for 15 off 4. Good bowling spell there. And Mirjul, he got 2 for 21, which you always expect from him off his 4 overs. So, Hasan Bhai, give us a summary of your thoughts on the game. You gave us an earlier thought. Give us a summary of highlights, lowlights of that match.
Well, Pushkin Bhai, it was a bad day for Kryptonites. That's what I can say. Kryptonites is normally a very good team, but on a given day, things can happen. Cricket Bros' opening spell was brilliant. I basically started with Deep, and he bowled 4 overs on the trot, and then Jayed bowled 3 overs. I didn't bring any spinners until 11th over, so by that time, I think Kryptonites almost lost 70% of their wickets. So there was no coming back from them, and we took the momentum. And bowling, when they are bowling, well, they tried to stop 1 point at least, but Cricket Bros were on top. I think that's pretty much it, Pushkin Bhai. It was a good game for Cricket Bros, but all the best wishes to Kryptonites for their remaining matches.
In some of the commentary of that game, I heard, I think it was Khanbei, I'm not sure who was in the commentary. He mentioned that some of the Kryptonite players were debutants, their first game, and some of their mainstay players weren't actually there. So maybe, and it sounded like maybe that had contributed to the low scoring with some of the new players. It's very nerve-wracking to play your first game for a new team or a team. So maybe that was some of it. And cricket's one of those things where, I tuned in when it was 4 for 14, and I'm shocked. Kryptonites is, really developing and a superior. They're really coming along well. So that 4 for 14 was a shock. And when you sort of tune in and go, what's going on? And but cricket's one of those things where things like that happen. But you're dealing with someone like Jayed Bhai, so very experienced campaigner who, and of course Raihan Kabir, who's been a tournament master at this stage with his batting, although it didn't come off today. He's bowling left arm over the wicket. Not many teams are used to that. There's not many left armers in the competition, and he bowls close to the stumps line and length, so very hard to get away, and he bowled beautifully. So Jayed and Deep in this instance were the stars in the ball, and Jayed, as usual, as a dashing player, he gets away with it, did brilliantly. Mirjul, who's the main, he's the main guy for Kryptonites. I think he bowled beautifully, and I watched a lot of his deliveries. Unfortunately, he didn't get the runs on this occasion because he's a key person for the team in terms of runs, and I think that's probably where Kryptonites might have suffered a little bit with his with no one being able to back him up. But yeah. A good, tight, low-scoring game, good competitive beginning when Kryptonites came out and bowled with 3 for 16, having the Quick Bros. Diptor was also there, I noticed, steadying the ship at the end in partnership with Jayed and some of the others, which was a good stabilising innings. And I think you needed that given the low score, because so many times we've seen low scores and then what happened? The team loses against the low score. So good, intelligent batting by him. I have a bit of bias because I play a bit of cricket with Diptor, so well done to him. And well done to Jade for a wonderful match, the man of the match performance. If any of you guys want to add to that before we go into next week's quick summary, and then we'll close down the banter. Go ahead about that game. If anyone, Rajib Bhai, Shafayet, if you want to add some comments before we go to next week.
Rajib Bhai, you can go.
If you think about that last game, Kryptonites versus Quick Pros.
Yeah, as I said, man, Kryptonites, they're a very good team. They have a young team. They got some very good young players. Because I remember in one of the games, one of the tournament, after they lost, they're very disappointed. So I did tell them, guys, you guys just form a team. There's no point to be disappointed. I know it is hard feelings, when you lose a game, but you guys still shaping up your team. Play together, do your hard work at the ground, you will get your results. I think last tournament, they were the champion in one of the tournament as well. So they're getting up there. But one thing I must say to see Raihan Kabir bowling, this guy reminds me of Mitchell Stark. The way he bowls those in-swing Yorkers, man, that is unbelievable. And he's such a gentleman of the game as well. I wish both team all the best.
No, excellent. Good summary. Good close out of the weekend's incredible games. Let's talk about next week. I've got 2-3 minutes left. Let's quickly go through them. So, incredible set of games. This is the beauty of this tournament, I must say. Every weekend there's some star-studded, really exciting games. So the first game we have is Sydney Brothers versus Saints. Now, Saints, I think, have the same, I'll call it, disease of supermen like Sydney Burners, where they've got this combination of great players, and that I think the same considerations are there, where everyone, am I tense or am I relaxed? So I think Saints, and that first game where they got all out for 89 was a shock, but they've come back. So Quick Bros, Sydney Brothers, 2 from none. So they've won 2, lost none. Saints have won 1, lost 1. Thoughts quickly around the grounds on Sydney Brothers versus Saints. What are your thoughts? 1 minute. Anyone? It'll be a great game. It'll be a great game.
Yeah, definitely. It will be. So both teams are really strong. But if I need to pick one team, I don't know, like Saints will bring their full squad or not. But if they bring their full squad, it's gonna be. But without that, so I would go for.
Rajib Bhai?
My bet is for Brothers. I love Saints. I love Tasin Bhai, but I love the young guns of Sydney Brothers. I love to take a bet, and I think I'm gonna bet for Brothers.
We would like to see Tasin scoring 100.
Of course, 100% any day.
Hasan Bhai, on that game.
I think this is going to be a 50-50 for me, honestly speaking. This is going to be, I think, the revisit with BSL final, Sydney Brothers versus Randwick Riders. Sydney Brothers, I think, try to, they will try to get something from that final match. They dropped some catches in that day, even though it was not Sydney Brothers. But I think by saying that, I think Sydney Brothers will take this time. Let's see how it goes.
The next game on Saturday, the afternoon game, is Piffy versus Dashing Tigers. Piffy have won 1, lost 1. Dashing Tigers have lost both their games. Piffy really, Dashing Tigers have done some recruiting this year, and they're a very improved team. But Piffy, for me, if they bring their squad, is a very strong squad, huge experience. So my gut is Piffy, and I love Dashing Tigers. I have some friends in that team, and I love Piffy because I have friends. So I think Piffy might get the win on that one. What are your thoughts quickly around the grounds? Anyone? Shafayet?
Yeah, I'll go with Piffy. Actually, they are very organized team. Dashing Tiger is doing good as well. I hope it will be a good contest, but my bet will be on Piffy.
Very good. Hasan Bhai?
Piffy. I'll vote for Piffy this time.
Rajib Bhai?
I would love to see Dashing Tigers to win, but I think the Piffy is going to win this game because of the experience they have.
100%. All right. Last couple of games on Sunday morning, we've got another, this is a cracker, Gladiators versus Cadets. So Gladiators have won both of their games. Cadets have won 1, lost 1. Gladiators, another, combined super team, showing their wares already. And Cadets have some incredible players. Their captain. I think this is going to be a tight one myself, so I'm not making a call here. Gladiators maybe, but Cadets, if their captain gets his hundreds like he often does, it'll be an interesting game. I'll go with you, Rajib Bhai, to start this one off before we almost close.
Gladiators all the way. You can't beat them unless someone's gonna go and beat them in the finals. I don't think anyone is beating them.
No, 100%. Hasan Bhai?
Only Rajib Bhai can.
Why I'll go for Carrots this time. I don't want the comedy team to win any of the games, so I don't want them to win the trophies, and I don't support them. I don't support their squad. Cadet all the way.
Cadets always. Shafayet?
I think Gladiators, but I wish it will be Cadet, but I think Gladiators.
Right, last game before we wrap it up. Spartans versus Sydney Fighters. Spartans have none from two. They've lost both their games. Sydney Fighters have won one, lost one. Both very good teams. Spartan is an emerging team with some gladiators moving into the Spartan side. Sydney Fighters, well-established team now. Very, Fahd Bhai and co, great team. Agnik and Rohel and all these guys. For me, Sydney Fighters, it'll be a close game, I think. Still, it won't be. I don't think it'll be that far away. But my call is for Sydney Brothers, and I hope Spartans do get up because they haven't won one. Hasan Bhai, you start.
I think Fighters this time. Fighters are pretty organized now. Spartans a little bit shaky. But eventually, this is only the third game of the tournament, so every team has got a chance to come back, even though if they lost 2 games to Spartans. But for this game, I choose Fighters may win this one.
Shafayet?
I'll go for Fighters. Actually, I think they're better than Spartans, but anything can happen. But it could. My bet is like 60-40 for Fighters.
Very good. And finally, Rajib Bhai.
To be honest, Pushkin Bhai, I haven't followed this team very closely lately. So I can't bet on anyone, but it's 50-50 for me, to be honest.
Well, it's perfect reason for you to tune in and watch the game and get some.
I will. I definitely will.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Shahid Bhai. Thank you, BCL. Thank you for all your cooperation. I've enjoyed this immensely. You guys have really contributed. I'm grateful for all of your contributions, and let's see how our predictions go. And have a good evening, and thank you again.
Thank you for having us, Pushkin Bhai.
Thank you.
Have a good night all. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.